It's time now for us to consider, actually, the ways in which the youngsters are marshalling our resource and thought for the church in the years ahead. Time for us to gather again the thoughts and direction given to the local churches through the younger members of the community. And our panellists come from a variety of parishes around the county, coming together under the Church Youth Councils. Now, over the past couple of weeks, I hope you've been able to be with us because we visited subjects like gay and lesbian relationships and marriage. Well, this week, our team of Beth, Cassie, Simon and Kath give their thoughts on a subject every member of the community needs to address. It's that of climate change. So, who's to blame? Us or the planet? Discuss.
I think the gas emissions we use are helping, contributing towards global warming and such.
I think it's mostly man-made, but there is some sort of natural thing to it because of past ice ages and stuff.
So it's a natural cycle then, and we're overdue an ice age, you know.
Yeah, but yeah.
Having looked at the cycle graphs, up until about 20 years ago, you could say, oh, it's just part of the natural accession. But now we're continuing at an increased rate to accelerate carbon in the atmosphere and the temperature. It's probably the hottest May I can remember. And obviously doing exams, I'm used to this temperature in sort of late June, not a month or so earlier. And talking to a lot of people over the age of 30 or whatever, they all can accept that it's hotter now than when they were a child.
Is this your fault, our fault, Kath? Who's to blame for all this then?
I think a lot of it is man-made with increased use of cars and industry and stuff. From studying it in chemistry, all the carbon emissions.
Okay, so what you gang are basically saying is that I'm partly to blame for this. Okay, mea culpa. But it's a problem that you're going to have to deal with. You and your kids and your kids' kids. So what needs to be done about it? What are you going to do about it, Cassie?
Well, at the moment my family does a lot of recycling and, just doing little things to help the environment, because if everybody does a little thing, it all builds up. I think there was something about how a few years ago the ozone layer started closing up because people started doing something about it.
But also, onto that, we have, in a way, the biggest thing that you as a generation can do is stop arguing whether it's happening or it isn't, because even if it isn't happening, there is nothing wrong with us reducing our power consumption and therefore our carbon emissions because of the oil crisis going to happen in whether it be 50 or 100 years time. So that's going to help us in the long term anyway. If we do something, just the scientists who are saying it's not man-made were to support at least doing something about it, that would leave no excuse for people to say, oh, but it's not our fault. Because that's the biggest thing that can damage us with America, China developing with this excuse to hide behind.
I think it's more important with climate change that we're reducing it before it happens rather than after it happens trying to reduce the effects of it. So I think it's important that government officials now try and reduce their emissions before we get more problems.
So do you think that Cassie's point about lots of little things done by us is pointing the big guys, the governmental players, in the right direction then?
Yeah, but I think more needs to be done before we have the problems.
I think the major problem with people not doing the little things to help the big picture is that they don't see it as an immediate threat. But I was watching the Al Gore film over Easter, and the fact is we have Greenland. In a few years' time we could be plunged into an ice age, and as a society we're not prepared for that.